Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. This is game one this evening, an adventure that I've entitled Dark Intention. But before we dive into the adventure, I just want to take a quick moment. Well, actually, rather than having like our normal introductions, I'm going to set a scene, and you all let me know what you're all doing in the moment. So you find yourselves in a small city, so to speak. It's not like a central city. It's not some large industrializing place. It's a kind of country city. It's got, maybe 2-story high at maximum stone houses with thatched roofs. A few of the maybe nicer shops might have wood. There are people bustling around, mostly peasantry. People are hawking, selling their wares from small little shops on the sides of the road. And as we kind of fade into this moment, it's a beautiful sunny day. And the lot of you, well, you're there. You're here in this kind of city square in this small countryside city. And what are we all doing? Where do we see, I guess, first of all, where do we see Brozz in this moment?
I'm just painting as per usual. Expect nothing else.
So Bug, have you set up a kind of like a tripod and you've got everything in? Are you painting anything in particular, or just the rural rustic life?
Oh yeah, I'm just painting the scenery. It's pretty nice, Could be a little bit better. There's no bloodshed. That's pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah, there's no bloodshed, unless you are like a vegetarian, because there are some shops that are selling meats, and if you find that effective, you would notice those. But all right, so Bog, you've set up in the middle of the street. Some people have kind of gathered around and they're observing you. And they look like, they want to like throw you a couple coppers or something to observe a painter in their environment. And being a large bugbear, you've drawn especially large amounts of attention as primarily humans in this city, maybe a couple of halflings or something like that. So yeah, they're very interested, like, are you some famous out-of-town artist? Or people are questioning and kind of are very interested in what you're Kokla, where do we see you in this moment as some of the townsfolk are gawking at Bog? What are you up to in this town square?
Well, after probably looking for a book or two, I'm probably playing around with my viol.
Ah. So if you set up near Bog, are you providing some kind of ambiance to their painting? Or are you kind of a little further away drawing your own crowd?
Probably a little further away, probably playing something lively or
like a little dancing jig kind of deal. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, this is kind of medieval peasantry. So, like, the townsfolk aren't really dancing around or anything to it, but they're watching and they're really enjoying it. And they want to dance, but it's improper for them to just be dancing around in public. But there are a lot of kids that are dancing around and having a blast. A lot of young children that seem to be really enjoying your music.
Kokla is really happy that the kids are having fun. More jig.
Well, and they're about your height too, because you're a little kobold, correct? Is Kokla the kobold, or am I? Okay, I was right. All right,
I'm about 2 feet and 2 inches tall. I'm small.
So maybe the kids are actually twice your height dancing around, and that's also garnering a bit of attention. There's probably like a town guard who's just kind of leaning up against one of the buildings, like watching you, because kobolds are like scaly goblins or something. These people don't probably know much better, but they aren't bothering you so much. They're just keeping an eye on you.
Fine, I understand.
Moraath, where are you in this situation? I mean, you're also a non-human race, a tiefling, bright red in coloration, correct?
Yes. I'm also probably the largest life form in the town right now.
How tall are you exactly? Or precisely?
7'2".
You tower probably a head and a half above everyone else. But you don't need that extra height to see, because people get out of your way. There are whispers of the devil and the demon is coming and all sorts of things like that. what are you doing? Like, are you going anywhere in particular, or are you just waiting? Because right now you're all waiting around for a contact to meet.
Even if people are very fearful of me, it seems, I'm still going to be giving people firewood for the winter, making soups for people. I'm kind of double tasking. I'm chopping.
You're chopping. There's not a lot of trees in the city where you're at, or have you just gone to the park and you're just taking down a couple of the trees?
No, I brought my own stock.
You that was a backpack full of wood.
A wagon, actually.
A wagon, excellent. And did you carry it the whole way, or do you have like
yes,
some sort of oxen that's pulled it for you?
I have had an animal. We have lots of like, what's the word? We have lots of, say, horse-like creatures up in Ashenholt. So actually, yeah, we do kind of monitor around wood here and there. Actual wood, not stone. We use that for building our buildings. But I have actual wood. I'm chopping it and I'm handing out firewood for the people to survive the winter. And I'm running basically a free soup kitchen so that people have wood, or yeah, they have wood and food.
So you've got like a tripod with a big cauldron under it that's bubbling and broiling. And then you have next to it your big old wagon. And I imagine, what are you just standing there and like calling people like, do you want some wood? Or
something along the lines of free wood, free soup, all the winter stock you need. You know, that way these people don't die and they can live a little happier. And the people with children can maybe indulge gifts for the season? I don't know.
You have very genuine intentions. Despite that, unfortunately, only a few, probably the least well off of the people in this town, have actually come toward you and kind of taken advantage of your hospitality. One person probably even questioned, so what do I have to give for this? What am I losing? You know, if they're making some kind of deal or selling their soul.
They lose absolutely nothing. All they do is gain from my generosity.
You tell them as such, and you can still you can see that there's still a fear in their eyes and in their hearts as they do take what you offer. All right.
And in any case, when they do take what I offer, I do also give them words of encouragement. They're going to get through these hard times.
You're just being so nice.
Yes.
And everyone's just like, ugh,
yes.
demon.
Hey, even if there's a stigma towards me, I'm going to be the nice person I am.
Oh, absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Vaudius, where are you? You are a bee, Florian. You have, I imagine, do you have like very vibrant yellow and black that's very like highly contrasting, or is it more dulled with age and wear, your coloration?
No, I'm very vibrant. It's especially useful in my profession. I'm currently speaking to the town guard in Montag. Apparently, at some point in time, I learned that there was a Zuzip incident here. I'm here, of course, following in her footsteps, trying to track her down. Something about a rock and a very smart baby. Fire, I believe, at the walls at some point.
Yes, and the guards are very. Your knowledge of what had happened immediately disarms them. They're immediately put at ease. Plus you're very like bright and happy color. You know, you look friendly. I imagine more than like maybe. Well, Moraath is very friendly, but Moraath looks like their depiction of like a demon, and you look like a happy bee. So,
very soft. I may be pet.
Oh, and I imagine. So you're probably over near where Kokla is, and that guard that was eyeing Kokla suspicious, you know, just having like a normal conversation with you for the most part, mostly distracted now from Kokla. Some of the, the people and the children are still dancing around, but some of the all the kids want to touch your fuzzy bee body at least once. Some of them are kind of scared, like, bug. But overall, things are pretty. And so, as the four of you are hanging out in this town, this is the city of Montag. It lies just outside of kind of dark wood that sits beneath the shadows of a large mountain that kind of stands alone, Mount Montag. you were sent here by Bartholomew with the expressed purpose of, that's weird. Doesn't work. I'm sorry. You were sent here with the expressed purpose of meeting up with the cleric here, a man by the name of Duncan. He resides kind of in the northern part of the town, just by the city walls. And I guess you have probably been briefed, at the very least, by the town guard, or probably some acolytes who came to greet you originally and said they would come back when Duncan is ready to meet with you. That people have been disappearing, going missing within the city. And the guards have been absolutely unable to figure anything out. And yeah, and I guess Duncan has maybe some leads that he'd like you to track down. And so, as you're all just standing around doing your thing, you see a couple of acolytes come forward. They're dressed in fairly plain tan robes with kind of a light burnished orange kind of trim to them. The robes trail down behind them and everything, and they have a kind of simple hood. But they aren't wearing the hood at all at the moment. They're young men, probably in their early 20s. And they come forward into the town square and call out, "Adventurers of Bartholomew, Duncan will see you now." They kind of wait, look, eyeing around, obviously seeing all of you. You're the only kind of non-human people here, and wait for you to approach. Do you all make your way over to be with these, to follow with these guards?
Yes, I'm actually going to happily leave behind the cauldron and the wagon of wood and stuff because, it's stuck in case anyone wants it. It's all free anyway. I'm going to pick up my maul axe because it is both a maul and an axe and put it on my back, kind of folding my massive wings around it to hold it in place while I make my way.
Yeah, that doesn't terrify the people at all. Like, oh god, it has wings. But at the same time, as you do leave the wagon alone and clearly leave behind, you see some people that maybe were watching from a distance hurriedly make their way over. Mostly toward the soup, actually, more than necessarily the wood. It's not too cold here yet. Not for another month or two. Okay.
Hey, if they stockpile, it's okay. And I'm at least happy that they're going to take the soup, whether I'm there or not. It is there for them.
And the rest of you all head over to meet up with.
I'm gonna apologize to the kids because I have work to do now.
Oh, they're all unhappy, but they go back to about their chores. Some, one of the random towns women just, "I'll get back to your chores, everyone. The show's over." And, they're kind of going out and doing their things.
All right, well, I'm gonna hand that painting I was working on to just some random person. I don't really care who.
Random person. All right. Let's see. Roll a d4. You get. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta roll a d6 actually. Yeah, you go ahead and roll me a d6. You hand it to a very young girl. She's like 6 years old. Thanks, mister.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Kind of looks at the painting. What is it of? Like, in the end, what's the finished piece? Just the city life?
If I had any idea, I would really tell you, but I actually have no idea what's on that paper. I wasn't really paying attention.
Bog was just kind of absent-mindedly. So, yeah, as Bog just walks away unknowing, the camera just kind of pans as she looks at it. Wow, and it's just the Mona Lisa. I'm gonna put this in the And she walks away. And yeah, Bog, you go over to meet with the acolytes, and Vaudius, you head over as well.
Yes, since I'm here on an investigation, and it's kind of my territory. I'm going to while I'm talking to the guards, I also want to get a feel for local laws, criminals, places where criminals might hang out. Just get a feel for the place before leaving their company to buzz over towards the group to begin the mission.
Yeah, excellent. So, what do you learn from this specifically? Your Watcher's Eye, your background We don't get a lot of those invoked in D&D time, but I love when they happen. You can easily find a local outpost for watch, single organizations. All right, so you're looking for like criminal activity and all that stuff. I can tell you one thing. This is a very much a medieval peasantry kind of city. There's probably, you know, a hierarchy of nobles that rule and run things. And they probably have their own set of secrets, totally distinct from the normal townspeople and their own different groups. That you can tell right off the bat, though, there's the city watch, who you've been talking to, and they seem pretty forthright. There are a lot of monsters that come out of the woods at the base of Mount Montag, and they, well, the city watch does their best to try and defend against them, and for the most part, the city is very safe from that regard. Because the monster is so prevalent, you know, the occasional, like, murder doesn't really happen too often. And yeah, I think, like, you know, if someone wants someone dead or whatever, it's generally a more higher up person that ends up going out to the, you know, gets killed outside of the city wall. So there's not a lot of dens of criminal activity within the city that you could observe, I think. Is there any other information you were looking for?
That's, you know, getting a basic feel, maybe if it leads to something later on,
Yeah.
but at least knowing where things aren't is still knowing where things could elsewhere.
Well, and I'll give you the power players in the city, powerful guilds. I say powerful, small guilds, you know, 6 or 7 shopkeepers that all sell furniture form a little guild. That's the kind of guilds system in here. They have some amount of sway, and you can find them for most general woodworking, masonry, metal craft, that kind of broad category. The peasantry are their own suave in their own right. The guards and the nobility and probably the church, which is who you're going to talk to now.
Okay, yep, I'm buzzing over.
Cool. The group of you are led by these 2 acolytes. The peasantry get out of the way, no problem. As you approach, they don't want to bother the men of the cloth. They're clearly highly respected here. And as you make your way toward the north end of the city, you find yourselves at a large but simple stone cathedral. It's made primarily out of stone bricks that have been stuck together with cement or some other masonry, grouting material, or what have you. And yeah, it's more like a church than a cathedral. It's not quite that one. You see that there are a fair number of people out and about on in the grounds right now, as it is fairly early in the morning. Looks like maybe they have just come out of some kind of church session or something there. And it looks like, Moraath, someone beat you to it because they're giving out bread and cheese here on the grounds, just outside the cathedral. There's some nice oak trees with a very small stone wall that goes around the place. But, yeah.
Charity is charity. I don't care if they beat me to it or not.
Yeah, I figured. The acolytes guide you past all of that through the large oaken double doors to this church. And you can see up above it, there's kind of a circle with a bunch of different sigils engraved into it, which if you have a, you know, I don't know, a wisdom of 10 or higher, you recognize quite a few of those. This is kind of like an all-face church. Like, yeah, this is for all of the good God kind of place. You see symbols of Lathander, symbols of God Moragnan. You find weird things here that maybe you wouldn't expect. There's a lot of stuff.
What the fuck does any of this say?
Yeah, Moraath. Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, Moraath,
Yeah,
I'll
like-
tell you.
the acolytes don't say any. Oh, Kokla, you bring it up. You say something.
I just inform Moraath of what the symbols mean.
Okay.
I see. I can't make any understanding of what they mean, so thank you for clearing that up.
So as you explained to Moraath, well, you see, these are for, it's an all faiths church. Those are holy symbols of gods. Moraath's like, oh right, gods. I know those. You make your way to the end of the inside big chamber. It's one big room. There's maybe a couple rooms in the back, but it's not very large. You can see there are a bunch of stools, or benches rather, that kind of makes seating area, and up at the front there's a lectern, and you see just kind of cleaning up some clearly holy stuff, you know, incense and things. A man, he's fairly, I wouldn't say he's old, he's in his probably late 50s. He's got two large round, he's got a pair of large round spectacles, and some kind of lightly graying hair. He's mostly bald on top, though. He's also wearing this simple tan and ochre trimmed robe. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, you are the adventurers then. I am Brother Duncan," he says, kind of putting the kind of tray for the incense that he was about to put away back on one of the tables there. "You all have found the city to your liking so far, I hope."
I find it to be quite nice, even if people are a little afraid of me.
Yes. Well, they aren't used to seeing creatures of, you know, looks at all of you, your types here, but they simply just don't know. Most monsters
I seem to
coming
have-
out of the forest are, well, they've killed people they know, friends and family. They aren't used to seeing friendly creatures.
I seem to have lost connection to the live game. Give me a second.
No, that
I have
seems
lost
to be just
connection,
the problem
too.
with Roll20 at the moment. You can just ignore that; it'll go away in a minute, hopefully. I really hope. Anyway, wouldn't that be anything on the cake? Roll20 right now. Anyway, Duncan looks at you all. So, I brought you here for an important reason. People have been going missing. Primarily, it's been, well, my flock, the peasantry here, but there have even been a few guards. The local guard has tried to figure things out, but, well, they're more well-versed in monsters, not murderers. And I'm afraid these might be murders, as we've found the bodies of all of the victims stabbed twice in the neck.
How many victims are we looking at?
Well, in the last week, been a good dozen.
Man, they can't do that. You know, like, murder's illegal. People just go around killing people. That's illegal. You can't do that.
I completely agree, my friend. It's a terrible thing, and I was hoping.
What kind of stab wounds were inflicted on the victims?
I am afraid I am a simple cleric. I'm not well versed in different weaponry, simply that they received some terrible injuries in the neck. And
Do you have a victim present? Could we examine the victim?
well, most of them have already been laid to rest. But there is one in the back, currently under ritual, or, you know, burial rituals. I suppose I could allow you back to... Just do not bother with the body too much, if you can.
I'll make sure to treat it with respect. I'm a professional after all.
Brother Duncan kind of nods his head. Is there any other questions? We just wish for you to find the cause of this and hopefully to stop it.
I do
Well,
have a
of course.
question, actually.
Yeah.
Has there been any rumors about the possible serial murderer being some sort of demon, maybe possessed?
I don't know. I haven't... My duties here at the church keep me very busy. I don't really have a lot of time to just carouse as the merchants might.
That is
I
fine.
could try and get
But if you ask around, maybe.
some
Yes,
information.
little one.
You first, Kokla.
It's okay. I can around and look in books and see if there's anything we can find.
Very well. First, let me show you to the back. And Brother Duncan kind of stands and goes to walk toward the back. I'm just wondering, what are all of your passive perception, or not? Yeah, what are all your passive perceptions?
My passive perception is a 14.
14.
Surprisingly, I have an 11 passive perception.
All right, so
I've got a 12.
all pretty respectable. Moraath, you're the only one who doesn't realize this because you're just a little too low. You can see Brother Duncan, he walks with a little bit more briskness to his step than maybe you would expect for a man of his age. Whether it's the faith kind of keeping him in good strength, or maybe he just looks a lot older than he is. He leads you toward the back without any, or maybe he's just excited you're there that someone's going to deal with us. But he leads you to the back without any sort of issue. And as he kind of opens the door, you can see that there's only one room here in the back of the church. One, I'd say, large room. It's maybe 30 feet long and 10 feet wide. It's just not big per se. And you can see that there's all sorts of stuff stored up here. And kind of one side, you can see some spare benches that have been stored. On kind of another part, there's some firewood stacked up. And you probably noticed there was a hearth in the main room. Or maybe actually not a hearth, but one of those wood stoves meant for heating a larger area. But yeah, as you look around, you do see, in fact, there is a table with some now dirty cloth on it, and there is a body laid out. They look to be a kind of middle-aged peasant woman, but they are very dead, and you can see the side of their neck has been just destroyed. Not little punctures, not clean stabs, but it looks like someone took, I don't know, like a chainsaw to the side of their neck for about an inch. And yeah, they just kind of are lying dead on the table. The two other acolytes are back here, and they have some herbs and things, and seem to be doing some sort of ritual, and Brother Duncan shoos them away. Says, he tells them to just stay and observe, and that he'll be back. So you are all left in the room as Brother Duncan goes to deal with the peasants that are all gathered outside. And yeah, what do you all do? There's just the body there. There are the two acolytes.
I've seen something like this before.
Enlighten me.
Well, what are your experience with the bunny folk?
I have never actually personally seen one before. I've only heard of them. Again, I'm from near the Slumbering Spine, so I have limited experience with people like that.
Some of the bunny folk have a bit of a temper problem. I remember working a case, and I think a lot of your kind may not see the bunny folk necessarily as a murderer or a threat, but they can be pretty vicious. I'm going to turn to the acolytes and just start asking them about things that would, whatever, natural leads. Do you have any? Well, I'm going to go for bunny folk first because that's what I know, but the animals that live in the area, the investigator background stuff. If you want me to roll, I'll roll, but I'm trying to set a stage here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, it's because there's stuff they can tell you, there's stuff they can't. They can tell you straight up that this doesn't seem like the kind of monster that would come out of the forest. Monsters that come out of the forest, big, scary, rip you limb from limb kind of monsters usually. This looks, they don't know what this is. They don't know what could have killed this person. There's no other obvious injuries on their body. I mean, there's some bruising, they've maybe been bludgeoned or something. But
can I take a look at the body without touching it, but take a closer look at it?
Okay. What are you looking for, Kokla?
I'm looking for
Cause of death, that kind of stuff.
What could have caused the bruises and such?
Sure. Can you go ahead and roll a medicine check, and then also, Vaudius, Yeah, I think the acolytes can tell you the body came in from the probably the northeast quarter of the city, or northwest quarter of the city, which is pretty slummy. But there have also been bodies that have come in from the northeast quarter, which is a little bit nicer. You know, there's some actual parks and things in that area rather than just big tenements. Yeah, looking at the body, Kokla, you're like inspecting the wound, but you don't want to touch it. Just kind of like looking. It definitely has been stabbed. You're looking at it, and there are stab marks because the stabs go a lot deeper. It looks like rather than like being ripped open, they were just stabbed over and over in the neck.
I'm going to inform our bee detective friend about this information.
Multiple stab wounds. I've heard that one before. Really bad case. Someone said they tripped and fell and accidentally stabbed their friend 42 times in the neck. That only works once. Everyone stops believing you after that.
42 times seems like either
little
someone really
overkill.
gets off to that. Yeah, either someone really gets off to that, or that was a crime of passion.
You know, I think it just happens sometimes, honestly.
Passion, though. That could be a motivation.
Bog, have you set up like your painting?
Oh yeah, I'm painting this dead body.
Excellent. So are you? So you've kind of set up your easel and or what is it called? Is it an easel that you put the painting stuff on? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you set up the tripod easel thing and you start painting. And you're looking at the scene, and all of your friends are gathered around this body, like, And the two acolytes are standing off to the side, and they look very uncomfortable. Like you've captured their unease, rather, in this painting. And then you also are set up in just such a way that you can like see through the door back into the cathedral proper. And you've got a little benches in there. You've got there are actually some suits of armor you didn't notice, like, plate armor that are up against the doors in the back. By the main end, and it looks like they have like holy symbols of different deities painted on them, probably to deities of combat and battle. And you can't get a couple other things. There's like a big scythe hanging on the wall. There's all sorts of cool holy relics here. But unfortunately, you don't pick out anything about the murder with your painting. Besides having perfectly captured death and just disgust in these acolytes. But yeah. The acolytes say that, if you like, we can lead you to the places where the bodies were discovered. Or if you'd like to search further, feel free. They tell you it doesn't look like anything was taken or anything from them.
She still had all her money and personal effects on her.
So the motivation wasn't robbery.
While they're contemplating what the murder is, I'm going to ask the acolytes about the brother that we just talked to.
Brother Duncan? Brother Duncan
like how long
been serving here for a very long time. He's a very good man.
Hey.
What would you like to know about him?
I just want to know, like, how long has he been in town?
Oh, Brother Duncan, he has been part of the church since, well, before when I was a child even. He's always been Brother Duncan, serving honestly and faithfully under the Adagio.
Okay. Ask if they know any places, books on papers of information.
What kind of stuff? Are you looking for like monster things? Are you looking for history of the town?
History of the town.
History of the town. Okay, yeah. God, where would you find history of the town? I mean, some of the nobility
Town library.
might have it. There's not a town library in Montag, unfortunately. If you want monsters, there is a tavern in town. There are couple of taverns, not many, maybe like 2 or 3 in the whole city. There's one tavern called the Leaky Bucket, where a lot of people, like monster hunters, go before going off into the forest. And that usually has they have books on monsters there because that's where monster hunters go. But yeah, there's not like a library in the normal sense, unfortunately, that can give you access to the kind of clerical records and things like that if you want.
That would be helpful.
That might be helpful because then you can like see the times everyone was brought in, like all the bodies and things.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll gather this up for you, and I imagine that'll take some time to start going through. But you can kind of follow along with everyone else as you flip through it if you'd like.
I'm gonna do that.
That way you can still do stuff, but you're still doing your main researcher thing. Oh, I see. You have a researcher trait, another background feature. Oh my goodness. And this helps you get lore, information you don't know. Yeah. Yep, so it would definitely be from either like a noble around here, if you want history of the city, the Leaky Bucket if you want monster stuff, or the actual church's records here if you want information about when, like trying to piece together a timeline of these killings.
So definitely the clerical information for sure. Maybe talk to a noble later.
Sure.
Does the town have a local military?
Oh, it's just the very, very large adventuring populace that come through Moraath. Come through Montag. Lots of adventurers, but there's no military. There's the town guard or the town watch, but they.
So there's a militia.
There could be if they ever needed one, but they've never really had issues with other city-states or anything like that. They're pretty. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason. They don't have anything of value here, so no one's ever tried to attack them yet. And they're really well defended for not having anything, because they have big stone walls around the town, and you can't come from the north because all the monsters in the forest.
I might see if they have any military records.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely get some of that stuff from the watch if you like. It's the closest thing to military they got.
I definitely could. I'm an officer. I used to be a colonel.
More background! Okay, all right. So Moraath, you get some stuff from some of the guards, or some of the watchmen. We have Kokla. You've got just a big stack of it's not even a big stack, like a small stack of scrolls that you're going through. It's all written by hand by the acolytes. So, and their penmanship's not that good. I think it's less that it's not that good, actually. It's all very scripted and cursive, so it's kind of hard to read. But you're going through that. And yeah, so did you want to head to one of the places where the bodies were found, or are you guys just going to stay in this kind of back room for now, just investigate?
I'd like to investigate the scene of the crime.
I agree, and we might have something to talk about on the way there.
Okay.
We'll be following and going through these scrolls at the same time. I've had to try and read harder things than cursive.
Yeah, it's very highly scripted though, so it just takes some time. It's is that an S, a T, or an X? It's hard
Cursive
to
is
tell.
confusive like that
Little one, I will carry
confusive.
you so you can read.
right now because of all this cursive.
I love it. No,
If Kokla will allow, I'll carry Kokla in my second set of arms and just sort of fly along, allowing her to
I'll
read without
definitely
having to
allow
run into
this. This is comfy.
This is.
I should have put her on my shoulders before.
My bee
Damn it.
fluff is very soft. I hope you
Damn it.
enjoy it.
Coco, he is very soft. All right, Bog, are you starting
Working,
a new
I might
painting
take a
when you
nap.
get to there, or are you gonna leave your old painting here?
I'm just gonna leave the painting here for the church, and I'm gonna go talk with the merchants, and I'm gonna try to collect some information, more background stuff. If you hear you like that.
Okay, sure. Well, what are you looking for, Bog? We'll start with you,
Information,
Bog.
of course.
You leave your painting behind as you do, and you head over to. I guess maybe you get an audience with one of the merchants here in town. Word has spread of your incredible artistry and this young girl to which you bequeathed a masterpiece. And one of the actually do have a guild membership. Jeez. All right. Yeah. There's like an arsons guild. They're very small here, but they've been very eager. They are super excited to see you. And a young man with kind of blonde hair. He's wearing a kind of sweater vest kind of deal, but he's got kind of strong arms, like maybe he's a sculptor or something. He kind of greets you and invites you into their little chapter house. There's probably 3 or 4 other artists of varying professions gathered around this kind of small table, a lantern kind of placed down in the middle. And say, Mr. Brozz, was it?
Oh yeah, that's me. What's good?
It is an honor to meet you. I am Leo, and these are my comrades. And he kind of gives them all names that I'm not going to come up with off the top of my head unless you really care. What can I do for you, sir?
So there's apparently been like just a couple of regular old and I want to find out some information about that.
And they kind of, oh yes, indeed. And the others all kind of like nod yes, and they kind of like, a couple of them, like one of them takes notes, like he's trying to learn. Inspiration from death. I should have thought of this myself.
Oh yeah, it's really easy.
Go on.
So when you see a dead body, my first thought is to just paint it. There's a lot of inspiration in death. You just look around. They're not gonna move. You can take your time.
Perfect thing to sculpt. You're a genius, my friend. And he kind of, a couple of them furiously scribbling. Yeah, so we've heard many things about these killings. They've only been the peasantry, though. Such mundane things to be sculpting when there is such beauty in the world. But yet the painting you made earlier, so simple yet so mysterious. Is this perhaps a beauty that we have not seen before? We have not realized, blind by the glamour of the wealthy. And they kind of like start muttering to each other philosophically. Is there anything else you want to get from them? Because right now, all that you've got from them is, it's just the peasantry that have been killed. There have been no killings or deaths amongst the nobility, amongst the merchants. It's only the peasantry.
You guys know where?
Guards.
Oh, and 2 guards. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. You guys know where these murders even took place at all?
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. They can tell you. Oh, it's a good idea if we go to the place. Perhaps the dour feelings and emotions of the world of these locations could inspire us to be. This is incredible. How have we not thought of this before? And they get very, very into it. And yeah, they tell you that most of the murderings, to their knowledge, have happened in the northwestern kind of slummiest quarters, but not actually in the residential areas. It's more of in pathways. There's like a bridge, right, that there's maybe like a small tunnel through, or underneath rather, or like an elevated bridge with a small pathway underneath that a lot of people will take. And yeah, a bunch of people have been killed. Like 5 or 6 of the murders have happened just under that pathway late at night. And they tell you all of the killings have happened late at night.
All right. Well, I'm gonna thank them for their time. I'll paint them a picture later. Like eventually, it'll come in the mail, and I'm gonna.
You're always welcome here in Montag.
Oh yeah, no problem, Leo. I'm gonna bring this information back to the group.
Absolutely. So as you're heading back to the group, Moraath, you've gone off to talk to the soldiers, right? The watch.
Yes, I've gone to talk to anyone of any sort of standing of defense or militia, including the City Watch. Even registered weapon owners that would sometimes fight in defense.
Yeah, there are no registered weapon owners here. That is not the kind of have that level of detail, unfortunately.
Well, all right. That's a common thing Ashen Holt, but I suppose that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you come here and you go and talk to some of these guards, and you get an audience with probably not the captain of the guard, but one of the like higher lieutenant guys. They nod. Huh. Used to fighting creatures that look more like you than helping them. You say you're here to help?
Yes, I'm here to help, and I apologize for any stigma my form of bullying.
Don't worry about it. It's we're doing a lot of things coming out of the forest. Creatures like you, at least. No offense intended. I'm sorry.
It is okay. I'm used to it, actually. We are
He holds out a hand.
Moraath, and he meets Claudius's hand with a very firm, respectful shake.
I only have a small amount of time. What can I help you with? Looking into the murders I heard.
Yes. Do you have any, like, small battles, records, anything like that from your defense up to the north?
Well, yes and no. We keep records of every infraction, everything coming out of the forest. What it was, how we killed it. Try and make sure we're more prepared the next time. But when it comes to things in the city, we just don't have a lot of presence, to be frank. It's mostly up on the walls.
You see, there might be some possible correlation to something maybe sneaking into the city from the north. Maybe something a little bit more intelligent than common monsters able to fit in, like...
He kind of... Well, I mean... Yeah, I'm not sure, to be frank. We deal mostly with large things that are trying to attack, wyvern, things like that.
I see. One of the people in my party suspect possibly bunny folk.
What?
You would think I'm kidding.
Wait, that's a real thing?
Yes, I'm dead serious. Bunny folk.
Wow.
And there possibility that it might be a bunny folk behind the murders.
Yeah, I've never seen anything I could even begin to call a bunny.
That is fine. As long as I get the right...
A man with big ears?
I'm not sure. If I get the records of what you fought in the forest, he might be able to come with a correlation. I can bring any information of it back to you, if you would like.
Yeah, just make sure it's brought. I mean, we have backups of everything, just in case there's a fire in one of the offices. Yeah, I can give you some of our records of our recent infractions in the last couple months. We don't get a ton going on. Sound good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Good luck. I hope you can find an end to this. We lost 2 good men to whatever this was.
That would be why I'm here.
All right, he gives you some stuff to look through, and roll me a intelligence check as you kind of sift through everything.
It's just like an intelligence safe.
I think it's an investigation check, actually, to be square. Do you have a different thing to argue? Can you rules lawyer me a different skill?
Now.
Okay.
Technically. An investigation is simply a better perception check. But This guy has served a damn long time, so if it's investigation,
maybe a history check. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I could do history too, but those are the same odds, so I'm not trained in either. I'll roll investigation and hope.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're going through it. You're looking through these things, and everything is a large monster, with one exception, and that is there was a necromancer in the forest some time ago, but reports are they were a really crappy necromancer, like bottom of the barrel, low tier necromancer. So that's the only thing that is even small enough in the last few months that it could have any risk.
I will still take this information and bring it to the rogue friend, the investigator.
Yeah, and
That we have.
speaking of them, as you head out to meet with them, Vaudius and Kokla, you two are at the scene of the crime. One of the acolytes is they didn't guide you, but they gave you direction. And yeah, you find yourselves at a well, actually, you're in an alley, just a simple narrow alley between two-story tall stone tenements. You see that there is some kind of heaped garbage in this alley, and yeah, there's a little bit of blood, but not like. Yeah. Anyway, you're there. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take a moment to stop looking at these papers and take a look around.
Sure.
Time to go to work.
So, what are you looking for right off the bat?
How much blood is there?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing you notice. There's not a ton of blood. You look around and, you know, there's a little bit of blood on like the side of a building where maybe someone had like smacked their head or something. There is a little bit of blood splatter on the ground, but there's not a lot of blood, and it doesn't look like the place has been cleaned up or anything. So it's not like someone came in and swept the place. It just, you know, someone came in, picked up the body, and brought it back to the church.
How long would it be until Moraath reaches them?
Sometime. I'm gonna give them a chance to like look around a little bit since you got your thing and Bog got his. But
All right.
is there anything else you guys wanted to like look for in this area? If you're looking around, it's just like a filthy kind of gutter alleyway in an overcrowded part of town.
For the injuries that Kokla observed, is there enough blood in the area?
I don't even think you have to make a roll for that. You can just kind of see, no, there's not. There's
So can Kokla
certainly not
spot
enough blood to...
blood anywhere not obvious?
That would be an investigation check. And, Vaudius, are you doing anything as Kokla is looking around?
Well, Kokla can certainly go low. We're in an alleyway, you said.
Uh-huh.
I'll go high, especially if there's a lack of blood on the ground. I'll check out if there's any sort of windows in accompanying buildings or rooftops that perhaps a struggle or something took place.
Yeah, you also can roll me an investigation check if you don't mind, Vaudius, and I'll get each of you one at a time. So, Kokla, as you're looking at the ground, you move over like a big pot that had been dropped out of a window and is like, it's already broken and they just threw it out here. Push it out of the way, and you're like, blood? No, there's no blood. And you go over to a heap of what look like just sheets and like bedcloth that's been thrown out of a window that it kind of smells a little rank, and push it out of the way with something else so you don't have to touch it, and nope, no blood. And you're really just not seeing a lot of blood. I mean, like, there's enough blood for maybe like a bloody nose, but that's really all you're finding here on the ground level. Up above, but you fly up and you're looking in, like, none of the windows have glass. They're just kind of openings where you can throw stuff out. And nothing in the first one. It just seems like somebody's house, so fly up a little higher than that. No one's inside. Go up to the next one. Yeah, nothing. And that's all of them. It's just 2 floors up. And you head up to the roof, and no blood. But you do see something a little strange, because on these kind of multiple-story tenement buildings, right, it's kind of a thatch roof with maybe some wood support beams underneath to hold everything together. You can see that there is a satchel that has been kind of tied up on top of the roof. It looks like it's been woven through to be tied to the support beam under the thatching. It's just a simple kind of leather satchel.
I'd like to pick it up and look inside.
Yeah, you flip it open and you look in, and, well, there are some rocks. There's a couple of, like, decent-sized, like, rocks in it. maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a foot long, 10 inches long, like big old, basically, not cinder blocks size, but cobblestone. So like cobblestone. There's maybe 3 of them. And you can see that one of them is actually a little bloody. Not like super bloody, but it's got some caked blood on it.
A clue. Very well. I'll take the bag and slowly buzz my way down to the alleyway where Kokla is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll share
Kokla's
my
gonna-
findings as well.
Is that I did not find a lot of blood for.
And it's at this time that Bog and Moraath both also kind of make it to where you guys are and share their information. So at this point, you've discovered, all right, it was only the peasantry in this north part of the town. Most of the killings, I mean, all of them occurred in very much secluded places where there wasn't a lot of room to escape. There was no witnesses to any of them that you were aware of, and there isn't a lot of blood at the scene of the crime.
I also did a little bit of small investigating over the military records of the town when they defended from the north. From what I've seen, I don't know of any kind of bunny folk. However, the only exception to something being small enough, as in smaller than any of the large creatures they fought, was a necromancer, which when they marked it down as kind of ineffectual. But the necromancer is still a necromancer. I find that kind of odd.
And yeah, the necromancer was never dealt with.
Also, seems they were never dealt with. They weren't killed.
Well, a necromancer certainly does have reason for, needing dead people.
They need dead
That-
people, though, and wouldn't leave them behind.
That's possible, but there's also another thing about it. What happens if you leave them behind? The bodies get buried. That puts all of the bodies in one location. It's like storing them so that you don't have to find a place to put them.
I believe Montag already has graveyards. Isn't that what it is?
That's completely possible. Graveyards could be storage.
I'm more worried about where the blood went. There's such a big, stabby wound. That's a technical term. All the blood is gone, but it's not like it wasn't finally harvested or it wasn't consumed in a particularly elegant fashion.
Could they have been killed in a different location and brought here?
That's entirely possible. Though, what would move something from a different location to bring it here and stage a scene here?
I was gonna say, I think Vaudius, based on the rocks that you found up there, looks like that's how someone would have been taken out in that alleyway. We got a rock dropped on.
Oh, they were sharp rocks? Or
No,
I was
it's
thinking
like heavy rocks. You drop them 20 feet and you're gonna kill somebody.
Oh, it was just the one peasant that had her neck stabbed, but the others died in different ways?
You don't know.
Oh.
The only one they showed you was that one.
Oh.
I'm gonna go back over the notes from the clerics, see if anyone died by or bludgeoning.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Kokla does have clerical notes.
Yeah, Kokla, we never had you roll for that. Can you roll me? Oh, what's the check do you want to make for this? Tell me what check you're gonna make, and I'll let you know if you can do it.
Well, since this
could be religion, it could be investigation, it could be all sorts of different things. I'm just wondering how you wanna say it.
Could be medicine because she's trained in it too.
Yeah,
She
right,
could
because you're looking
link
for
skills.
medical records.
insight, because we're trying to find insight on the situation.
Insight
Since
is
we already
about
know-
people. Insight is for like,
I didn't.
I don't trust you.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well then.
Yep. Well, the more you know.
What are my options?
I mean, you could do investigation, you could do medicine, you could do religion. You could probably make arguments for other ones. Okay.
You use perception.
I don't think perception's gonna work on that one. So you're like flipping through the notes, and it's like, oh, nope. They look like every single one of them says they were stabbed many times.
I wish I could help. Wait, I totally could help because I haven't used an action here.
Oh, you're saying, can you help Moraath? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Kokla are both going through the notes then. Sure. And so Kokla, that gives you advantage. It's actually going to be used for you. But so as you're digging through the notes, yeah, well, you find the same thing. All of the records say that the bodies were stabbed many, many times in the necks, and that was it. And then they were brought back to the church. They all describe a very, very identical injury, and actually as you're going through it, it's the exact same. The first one, the person wrote it. Yep, stabbed many times in the neck. Dead on sight. And then all the rest of them are pretty much identical.
Stabbed in the neck 42 times.
Vaudius?
Dead at scene for every single case.
Mm-hmm.
Can we check another scene to see if it has similar situation?
Sure. Do you know of another scene?
Wasn't there one like under a bridge or something?
And so Bog leads you all to another scene, one that apparently 5 of these murders took. And you get there and you start like snooping around, and there's not a lot of blood, and it's a pretty dirty, under this bridge area. I imagine the bridge connects like the city gates up to the merchant district, and then in this lower part of the city that the bridge, the tunnel goes under, that's where kind of the more slummy parts of the town are. And there's detritus and an old broken down cart and some stuff, but no blood, not a lot of blood.
Does the bridge have any bricks or rocks missing, or is there another similar, I don't know, maybe for most people it just looks like some wayside rocks or pebbles, but something that could have been dropped from the top of the bridge? So while they're investigating below, I can sort of buzz.
Yeah, and I think because you know what you're looking for, Vaudius, yeah, you find pretty much exactly that. There are some, because again, this bridge leads from one of the city gates to like the merchant district. So there are some like large clay pots with some flowers growing in them. And weird, there are 5 on one side and there are 2 on the other side of the bridge. And it looks like they should kind of be identical to each other. And you find some detritus under the bridge, just mixed in with all the other garbage. And oh look, chunks of clay pot.
Kokla. When did these murders take place? Was there a pronounced time from the clerics?
All at night. It's not clear about the time.
What's the current weather?
It's day. I mean, like at this point, you've been investigating all day, so it's coming toward dusk, but it's clear. I mean, not like a storm or anything.
And to see if there are any tracks on the ground from, feet.
But there's tons. I mean, this is a very frequently traveled area. Even with the killings, it's pretty frequently traveled. Like there were people going to and from, past you. And they probably stopped when they saw there were a bunch of people huddled up in this. They're like, oh my God, it's murderers. And they went away. But, this is a very well-traveled area. That alley wasn't, but...
Vaudius. Do we remember the lighting in the church when we entered? All of these murders took place at night. They have neck wounds and apparently blood is missing.
Neck wounds, but also they've been bludgeoned from atop.
Did we find any bludgeoning wounds on the bodies?
There was definitely bruising on the one that you found. Though you didn't really, you didn't do an autopsy. You gave a cursory look. And the hit to the head, if cleaned up, well, kind of hard to see.
Perhaps they were knocked out, and then whatever was responsible, moved in for the kill with the savage neck-rending and the blood-drinking. Much like I would sip nectar from a flower.
That's precisely what I'm thinking. The problem is we need to know what the lighting is in the church. Because it could be, Kokla, you had some suspicions about Brother Duncan. Out of pretty much nowhere. I didn't notice anything off. What about all of you?
He's
I didn't
older and
have
he
any
moved pretty
suspicions.
quick, and so I was just like, has he been here?
I believe that the acolytes had said that he was around and in good favor ever since he was a child. The priest.
And part of me's just like, for an old guy, he moves pretty quick.
Very quick for someone 50 years old who doesn't do any kind of
Heard of a
martial
church
workouts.
and I've never really heard of a church having multiple deities before.
Or rituals in the back room for dead people.
Especially such just one back room.
And that back room was pretty small too. I mean, it was pretty cramped in there. I don't know how we all fit actually.
And so I just
Somebody
wanted to get more
Are you
information about the.
suspecting that they were ravaged in the church?
I just want to get more information about the history of town in general, but I don't think that they died in this location, which means that their bodies were brought here, and a little blood was put here to make it look like they died here.
Staged scenes, but the location of killing was somewhere cleaned. That way we wouldn't suspect it.
These are serious allegations. My people don't necessarily have much in the way of religion or faith that you might consider. But I understand from my short time being here that accusing people like this of, this could be serious. This could be a big one, is what we
So
used to
I'm
call
not
it in our hive guard.
Accusing. I just want more information about town history and when the church was built and all.
One last thing. No one would suspect someone they trust.
I'd say I believe you, but with that logic, I'd have to arrest you then. I'm just going to nod slowly.
I mean, I've only been here once, but if you would like to arrest me, you totally could. I wouldn't mind.
I do know that
Wait.
whoever does this is kind of strong.
All right, so the gang arrests each other, and the adventure comes. No, I'm just kidding. So
Whoever did this had to be kind of strong. So,
What if we set up a bait and switch?
it's
Oh, you want to set a trap, a stakeout, to see if one of us could become a victim.
If one of us is possible for a victim and the rest stay here, what are the chances we catch the guy?
Who's the juiciest among... Oh, it's Moraath.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Right next-
Moraath, are you willing to be bait in a stakeout?
I like where this is going.
I can hide really close because I have a cloak that lets me hide.
So, what are you all doing?
I'm just preparing for the stakeout, Whatever.
All right, I think we're gonna run a bait and switch.
Moraath, you have to look like a simple person who's done manual labor all his life.
I have done
Can
manual
I-
labor all my life.
Very good. I believe we have the elements necessary. All we need is a little preparation. We know the area that the criminals operate and where they operate at night. And someplace... stones of some variety. Yes, there were several at the bridge.
In fact, many of the dead people were at the bridge, so why don't we set up the stake out there?
And the bridge is well traveled.
Yeah, I think our best spot is the bridge.
Alrighty. So you set up a stake out at the bridge. Where you all just in the garbage and stuff, or just cover yourself in filth and you're hiding?
On a location higher up where I can see everybody, and then I'm gonna lay down.
Just gonna lie down on the ground and try and be like, I'm small, so I'm hidden. Oh right, you have your cloak of leaves. Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Ooh, whoa, okay. And Vaudius, how are you hiding?
For the bridge, you said there's clay pots and whatnot. Are there trees around at all?
Not really here, unfortunately.
Okay, then what I will... Oh, you know what? I have a... hang on. I have a climb speed. I could sort of like be tucked up underneath the bridge and not have to worry, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, I dig it.
Yeah, yeah.
So just kind of trying to stick yourself up to the top of the bridge, no problem. Okay. It's a fairly high up bridge. I mean, it's maybe 30 feet high, this little arch, on this archway.
I'm not worried about falling.
So yeah, you'll have ready. Oh yeah, you can fly.
Yeah, that was my other thing, is I could just fly and be on the lookout, but I don't really have a way to disguise myself in the air, so.
Yeah. So Bog and Moraath. So Mark, you're gonna be the bait. Just get some like peasant cloth and like try to be as discreet as you can.
Yes.
Carry like a bale of hay on your head to hide your horns, kind of thing.
Only problem might be my wings, but I'm pretty sure I can put the backpack over that.
Yeah. Okay. And Bug, where are you hiding?
You know, I'm just gonna crouch down on the ground and I'm just gonna hope that I don't get seen.
All right. Can everyone roll me stealth check as you set up for your evening ambush? As the din of the town fades away into the
Don't have to
darkness.
roll a stealth because I have the
Night.
cloak, but
Whoa.
That crit makes me
That-
happy.
All right. You all duck down, hiding beneath the cover of night. I'm sorry, so no, you didn't have to because you're hiding in these.
I
Bug, you've crouched down. You're just like, I'm hidden.
You know, if I can't see you, you can't see me, and I think it's gonna work in this situation.
Vaudius, you are stuck to the top of this bridge. And as night falls, people make their way home, to their home. More than one peasant stops at one side of the bridge and looks around suspiciously before running through, trying to get to their side as quickly as possible for fear of, well, oblivion within. And one by one, they go through. And as it falls to dusk and then to dark, well, nothing is seeming to happen. Not at first. Moraath, when do you want to approach? Are you just going to just try and subtly make paces through and then go back around and try and go back through the bridge until something happens?
Yeah, actually.
Cool. So you are, I'll treat that stealth as like you trying to fit in, right? Blend in, playing the role.
Yeah.
And so you make your way through several times. And right around, it must be 10 or 11 in the evening. Not too late, but late by their standards. The only one that sees this person coming is you, Kokla, because you're up on top of the bridge. You see a figure come through the gates.
I have dark vision, by the way.
Yeah, well, you're under the bridge. Kokla's on top of it right now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The figure comes through the gates. The guards call down and greet them, and the gates open. And you can't really hear them because they're kind of far off, but a figure wearing a dark cloak and holding a torch to guide their way, or a lantern probably, makes their way forward down the bridge, passes right by you, seemingly unnoticing, and stops to stretch on the top of the bridge. Just kind of suspicious, not suspicious, stretching. And they're there for a fair amount of time. They've laid their lantern down on the ground, and you can see, as they look around, seeing no one, they move over to the side of the bridge and move over to one of those sit down along the railing. And in doing so, they push one of those pots a little bit closer to the side, just enough so it hasn't fallen yet, but could at a moment's notice. And they wait. Kokla, what would you like to do? As you're the only one who sees this person currently. Actually, Bug, do you have dark vision?
Yeah, I do actually.
You're like squatting on that side of the bridge, and you look up, and there's like a dude just sitting on the side of the bridge up there, about 30 feet up. Yeah, you see him too. There's just a little bit of light shining down. What would you like to do? Kokla, he's about 10 feet from you. Bog, he's, again, about 30 feet in the air. On a bridge.
I'm gonna stay silent for now. I'm just gonna sit there, you know?
Sure. Kokla?
Since he's right there and I have dark vision, can I take a look at him since he's so close?
Yeah, you can roll a perception check, but he's wearing a spooky cloak. So it's kind of hard to see his face. But sure enough, you see the face of Brother Duncan, your initial suspect, as he's just kind of sitting on the side of the bridge.
Being under the bridge, would I have heard the scraping of a pot, especially compared to the lesser foot traffic?
I think with your past perception of 14, you absolutely would.
Could I creep around from the bottom of the bridge to go up the side to where I see the pot kind of resting on a tilt?
Roll me another stealth check. And at this point, Moraath, you started coming back down under the bridge, and you pass under one of like the few little street light things that are here, a lantern suspended up on a post. And the figure, you don't see them, at least not well. You see some light up on the bridge, but there are a couple of like lanterns hanging from posts up there. You don't see them very well, and with your passive perception of 11, actually you don't see them at all. You don't notice them, but they notice you, and they seem to be getting ready for Moraath. Moraath starts passing under the bridge.
Okay.
Vaudius, you climb over to the side and you peek up, and yeah, you see them. They're about 5 feet up on top of the bridge, right above you. And as they kind of like turn to go look down, like ready to aim at Moraath, you duck back under Vaudius, I assume, or do you let them see you? With that 17, you can duck back out of their sight, if you'd like.
Yes, I'd like to duck back to avoid being seen. Now that I know, I see the priest's face, right? The brother Duncan. I've
I don't
confirmed.
think you do, because I mean, if
Okay,
you do,
I didn't know if his
he would've
lantern
seen
shined
you
because
as
I do not have
wrong.
dark vision.
Yeah, I think it's like with the way the cloak is facing, he's turning toward you. Do you stay to see the face, or do you duck back?
No, I would rather duck and just know that the pot's there, in case it does get shoved over.
I'll tell you.
I can prepare to try and bap it out of the way or glide it out so it doesn't actually hurt our friend.
You can see that in the lantern light. You don't see his face, but you do see the tan and ochre trimmed robe.
I would like to say something else. You could simply signal to me as I pass by you that someone's above me. I have danger sense. As long as I know it's there, I can get out of the...
I mean, Vaudius, I assume you signal to Moraath.
I wasn't necessarily thinking of screaming or something like that.
Okay.
Or I mean, I could scream in reaction, but I can't say.
Yeah.
Simply a hand gesture.
Well, you'll see a giant bee flying out from underneath a bridge to try and bap this thing out of the way for you. So if that doesn't trigger danger sense, I don't know what would.
Yeah, I think that canonically is the danger sense. And I think, Moraath, you see that Vaudius has come over to the side of the bridge. And so, as Moraath, you just keep going and let him drop the thing on you?
Yep, if I know it's coming.
All right. And so, Moraath, as you step forward and step out from under the bridge, Brother Duncan abruptly coughs and at the same time kicks the thing back with his feet. The pot clatters down to the ground. Vaudius, you fly out and bash into it with your shoulder, kind of pushing it off to the side. Moraath, can you roll that dexterity saving throw? Moraath, you leap out of the way. The pot shatters on the ground, and Brother Duncan looks down and sees you all. Well, actually, only sees Vaudius because he doesn't have that much dark vision, and gasps. All right. I would like you all to roll for. Actually, I'll just have you guys all go first because he's kind of surprised. That was his action, we'll say. Let's start with you, Bug. What would you like to do?
All right, so he's 30 feet away.
Yeah, he's 30 feet up from you, and he doesn't seem to see you.
All right, so I got these cool gloves yesterday, yesterday, and I can shoot things with them. So I'm gonna just use my Kensei's shot. I'm gonna pull up my my gloves, and I'm gonna use my sneak attack too.
What?
It's a surprise attack. It's a bugbear thing. You wouldn't get it.
Shit! Your bugbear move! Hype! Okay, you surprised. I was like, wait a minute. Go ahead, make your attacks as you take a swing at Brother Duncan. He can't see you right now. You are currently an unseen attack. Alright. Bonus action generally range attacks. Excellent. So you shooty gloves. What are these shooty gloves?
It's just a hand crossbow.
No, I know, but like in the canon, what are they?
Oh yeah, they're just gloves with crossbows in them.
Oh, all right. You shoot him. Go ahead and roll your damage. Hit him. And are these magical weapons?
They are not.
All right.
Let me add these other modifiers real quick.
Sure. All right. Another 4, another 8. Oh my god. So you're gonna hit him for 19 points of damage. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
The crossbow shoots him in probably the face, and he, rather than like ugh or anything, he hisses at you in anger, and you see large fangs in his maw. As you shoot him in the face. All right.
How tall's the bridge?
Bridge is 30 feet up. Who wants to go next? Kokla?
Yes.
Down?
I'm gonna jump up and
Kokla uses their
give me a second.
charming. I'm gonna say charming Kobold magic to
And cast.
Oh, this is an important one for him. I will say he's pretty good at Constitution. So he's still going to take 4 thunder damage.
And he doesn't get pushed 10 feet away.
Only if he fails on the saving throws, he pushed 10 feet away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
I think, right?
On a failed save, it takes 2d8 and is pushed 10 feet away.
Yep. Unfortunately, he succeeded on the save. So he's only going to take
Successful
the
save,
damage.
the creature takes half damage. In addition, unsecured objects within the area of effect are automatically pushed 10 feet away.
So another flower
Just
pot.
boom.
Another flower pot goes whee, just goes catapulting off the bridge, into the side of some building, and yeah, all right. So you blast him with thunder, and it echoes throughout the night, and everyone's awake now at the very least, and the guards are like, "Oh, what was that?" from down the guard post, like I said, the bridge. All right. Next in the initiative, who would like to go? Moraath, Vaudius.
I'll go.
Excellent, Vaudius.
Entity Duncan, I'm placing you under arrest on the suspicion of murder, and I am going to zoom over as I'm already in the air. I'm going to zoom up, and I'm going to. How do you want me to manacle him?
You want to try and manacle him?
Yeah.
That's a really tough one to do to like an active combatant. I'll say if you can grapple him, I'll let you try and manacle him as an action on a subsequent turn.
Sure. I mean, it's a surprise round, you said, right? So
Yeah.
I might.
Well, I'm treating not. Yeah, we'll treat it as a surprise round. I think that's fair. He's surprised. He
Okay.
did not expect to be attacked. Which means you do have advantage on your. No, you don't. It's a rogue thing. It's just advantage of surprise to creature. All right, so it's he's got to roll strength or dexterity check. He unfortunately resists you, and you can see, very much the kind of his face now shrunken in a lot more than it was when you spoke to him earlier. All right, and Moraath, last but not least, what would you like to do?
The guards are able to see what's happening because we have some
They're
light over here.
quite far off. I mean, this is
All
like a pretty. Yeah, I mean, they're probably an easy 60 feet away at the guard post.
Well, what they will see is, well, at least not them, but what everyone else around here will see, which is the party in Duncan, is, this hay bale and this backpack are just going to kind of explode off of my body as I deploy my wing.
Excellent. And you're gonna just fly right up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fly right up to him. Let's do a bonus action rage. Because, first of all, this guy tried to kill me. Second of all, this guy's in words.
Yeah.
So I'm a little pissed at him because he, the cleric, would dare take advantage of these poor peasants.
Okay. You're
With that-
furious at his
Yes.
a lack of piety.
And I'm going to bonk him with my giant maul, which I, from deploying my wings, now have my hands on.
Sure. You swing your great maul, and as you swing it toward him, he raises an arm and blocks it with his arm. And you do not connect, as you're met with an inhuman strength. And he hisses at you, and you can see very quickly his kind of skin darkening. And he's undergoing some kind of terrible transformation. All right. That is at the end of your turn, Moraath?
Yes, let's go with
All right.
that.
Duncan's turn. He is surprised. We are at the top of the initiative again. With who went first? Bug.
Bob Brozz went first, yes.
Bug, what would you like to do? You see two of your friends are flying around at the top of the bridge, battling Duncan.
All right, I'm gonna try to climb up the wall. I don't have a climb speed, so I'm kind of screwed there. But can I climb up it anyway?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It's rough cobblestone. It's not a hard climb. Another alternative, if you can jump more than 15 feet, which I think it just means strength score of 15 or higher, you could just climb up the stairs of a building. You could break into a building, climb up to the roof, and jump to the bridge. But
Oh yeah, sure. I'll just do a jump then. Yeah. All right.
all right, but you'd have to break into a building. Are you okay with that? Just
All right. No, never mind. I'll climb up the wall.
Okay, go ahead and climb up the wall. Roll me an athletics check. Excellent. Bug, you climb with ease because of your long and powerful bugbear arms and are able to scramble up the wall. How far did you want to get? You could take your whole action to get to the top, or if you'd prefer, you can get like halfway up and you still have your action as you're hanging off the wall.
I'm just gonna go halfway up, and I'm gonna shoot him again.
All right.
And the Kensei shot again too, just for that extra damage.
Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. As you go to shoot Duncan in the face, you'll hit him again. Damn. Very consistent with these rolls. Go ahead and give me your damage.
A solid 9, you know.
Nice. You shoot him in the face again. There are now 2 bolts sticking out of his face, which is starting to like elongate and become almost like that of a bat. And you can see now that you're like closer to him. You're hurting him with these, but it doesn't seem quite as effective as it would against like a normal creature. He has some sort of resistance to this kind of stuff. All right, that's the end of Duncan. Or that's the end of your turn, Bog. We move now to Kokla again. What would you like to do, Kokla?
I am really angry at the supposed cleric.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's that do?
Okay, so Earth Tremor,
An ability I'm unfamiliar with? This is insane.
yeah. You cause a tremor in the ground at a 10-foot radius. Each creature other than you in that area must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, creature takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone.
Ooh. Excellent. And
If the ground in the area is loose earth or stone, it becomes difficult terrain until cleared.
Oh, excellent. So chunks of cobblestone just kind of break up in this bridge area, and not terrible, so it's easy enough to fix. But Brother Duncan's got to roll a dexterity saving throw, which he fails. So he's going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage, which he takes the full damage because this is a magical effect. He does not resist the magic. And Duncan falls prone, which is going to be real good for Moraath and Vaudius, presumably. Yeah, as you knock him down. Is there anything else that you would like to do, Kokla?
I'm gonna call him a dirty son of a donkey.
Excellent. In that case, we move to Vaudius. Vaudius, what's your move?
I'm still placing you under arrest. Please do not resist. You're only going to make it tougher on yourself.
Yeah, you can see his like robes are starting to tear back, and like black oily wings are starting to come out of his back. He's
Oh,
turning into some weird like vampire bat creature. Kind of like, actually, this sounds a lot like the demons that everyone was talking about in Moraath when they're like, look, a demon. This guy looks like it. Yeah, you rush over and you grab him and hold him down, and he's hissing, his little arm, his fingers like extending into claws. But you got him prone, and he's prone on the ground, and you grappled him so he can't get up. he's like on his back, you're pulling his arms behind his back. Excellent. Anything else?
I have wings too. It doesn't impress me. Give up.
He tries to like bite at you. We move to the next in the initiative. Who is Moraath?
I have a mechanical question.
Yeah.
So, can I technically get Duncan in the manacles if they're in Vaudius's hands and I can grab them?
Mm-hmm.
I can put him in manacles.
You could try, yeah, if you want to do that.
I'm in a rage, so I've got advantage on this.
Oh, are you still in a... Oh, yeah, because you made an attack last time.
So,
Okay.
This is strength or athletics, or what?
Yeah, it'd be athletics. I think this is actually just raw contested strength, to be honest. I don't think it's actually athletics. But holy shit. Oh, he like, fights, and you click him in. No! And he struggles. Is that the end of your turn?
I'm gonna very forcibly pull a bolt out of his face, if I can still do that. Rip the head off, and yeah, I'm gonna rip the bolt head off, and I'm going to point it straight at his chest.
Okay. His turn. At the start of his turn, you see his wounds unnaturally heal. And he is going to attempt to break free of these shackles, which he doesn't. He struggles and is unable to. All right. What do you guys do at this point? I mean, do you have any way to like fully subdue him, or are you just gonna keep? No, are you gonna wrap him in rope, or is that the game?
Yeah, like tie and pile them.
Yeah,
Okay.
what?
The guards are already alerted because of the thunder wave, right?
Yeah, they're starting to come. I mean, there's like.
All right, we're hearing like whistles and bugles, like boop boop or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, you see probably like 3 or 4 guards running toward you as you're hog tying him.
Yeah,
Is
I think we should just hog tie him and.
Okay. Bug, is there anything interesting you want to do, or are you guys just gonna tie this guy up?
Oh yeah, we're tying this guy up, I'm pretty sure.
Beautiful. So,
I'm going to
As,
be doing so with caution.
yeah, Kokla, you're keeping a little distance because he's kind of like a big bat demon. And as you guys,
This is scary. Kokla's just like,
and yeah, as you tie him up, the guards rush over to the deal, and they're like, "Oh, geez, it's a demon!" And yeah, you've
No, that's
captured
Moraath. He's friendly.
this creature.
I knew that Duncan was the person.
Yeah. Guards, say hello to Brother Duncan.
This is a demon.
Yes.
Yeah, but he looked
give
like
him
Brother
about,
Duncan a moment ago.
Give him 8 hours, he'll turn back into Duncan.
The guards seem confused among themselves, and as night kind of goes on, you guys apprehend this creature. You bind thoroughly in both rope and chain and all sorts of things. It is well bound, and as the night fades into the morning, you guys have captured Brother Duncan. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where our adventure comes to an end. I mean, Brother Duncan is interrogated by the guards of the city of Montag, and turns out he had hired you simply to keep up appearances, hoping that you would get distracted by the necromancer, knowing that you would go to the city guards, and he'd simply be able to blame it and your apparent deaths on that. The guards investigate the little church, find that there's something of a ritual chamber below, with which he had been conducting the terrible thing, draining these peasants of their life in exchange for his own power, to someday overcome the father abbot who had been there for a very
Moraath would like to approach Claudius and give him the records back with a
Of course.
nice smile that this entire problem has been solved.
Yeah, and of course, Claudius is happy to know what was going on, and he'll be
Kokla,
more
of course,
suspicious.
gives the clerics notes back on the victims.
Oh, it seems, most of the clergy was in on it. I mean, most of those acolytes were in on it, and they get arrested.
Who's gonna keep those notes?
The Kokla keeps
Paper
them
as
full notes.
scrap. Use the paper as scrap paper right on the back for like music.
Mhm. And,
Aw.
or I'm sorry, not most of the clergy, but there were a couple. And so the adventure kind of comes to a conclusion. You guys have discovered the killer here in the city of Montag. You have apprehended them incredibly effectively, much more effectively than I would have considered. But sure, a job well done. The guards pay you your respective, 100 Bartholomew bucks apiece. And you've completed this adventure. Thank you all for playing.
Thank you. It was a fun investigation.
That was
Yeah, I mean,
that
it
was
was much
an
more of
amazing
a-
session.
It was much more
I
of a
panicked.
investigation session than a a murder beat 'em up one, which we don't have a lot of these in D&D time. We have a lot of murder beat 'em
This
up.
looks fun.
I like these. Would any of you like to shop really quickly?
No.
No.
Yeah, nah.
All right. With that, then we'll be right back with game 2 of the night, and we're running really behind because, it's me. We'll be back in a minute.